Hi, you are watching SightsIn Plus, and this is Romesh. Please do subscribe the channel for the HR news, for the HR updates, and conversation with the top-notch CHROs, thought leaders, and business heads. Today, I'm really excited, and I feel privileged to have the world-renowned thought leader and the father of modern HR, and he's none other than Dave Ulrich. Dave is currently working as a professor at the Ross School of Business at University of Michigan, and he is also the partner at RPL Group. Welcome, Dave.
Gosh, what a privilege to be with you. I have so enjoyed SightsIn Plus. You always have great insights, you have great observations, and an ability to generate and generalize good ideas. Thank you.
Uh, Dave, I'm really excited to have the conversation with you today. If you can just recap the 2023, so we have seen a lot of buzzwords like moonlighting, like quiet quitting, like quiet hiring, and so forth. 2024 is also the post-pandemic era. How do you see what are going to be the challenges for the HR leaders in coming year 2024?
You know, the challenges, well, first of all, I want to say, Romesh, it's just a privilege to be with you. Um, and sometimes one of the challenges is to stay connected personally, even at a distance. So I want to welcome people into my office. I'm in the United States where I live, and this is my office. Welcome. And Romesh, I assume we're also in your office. So you welcome us into your office, and we welcome ourselves into each other's lives. Some of the challenges in the context we've seen. We live with economic uncertainty. We live with technological advances, AI, technology of all sorts just dominating. We live with political ambiguity. Whatever country we're in, we live with political things. We live with demographic changes. We live with the world going through a whole series of change, VUCA, whatever you want to call it, that we've never seen. I think the HR challenges are still around three things. How do we manage our people? How do we make sure that our workforce is good? Second, and I talk about people with my fingers, those are the people, the talent in your organization. The fifth is how do we manage our organization, our culture, our systems, our workplace? Third is how do we manage our leadership? How do we build great leadership? Those three domains of HR, we call human capability, are going through enormous change. Are we getting the right people, right job, right place, right skills with multiple generations in the workforce? Are we getting the right capabilities, human capability, the culture, the systems, innovation, agility, et cetera? And are we managing leadership well? Those seem to be the responses to the context in which we live. And I think we'll see that HR, if we manage talent, organization, and leadership, becomes even more critical in the business setting.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. So, based on our discussion on the challenges, what are going to be the top HR trends and priorities for the HR leaders in 2024?
I love the question. And at the end of every year, every LinkedIn post, every webinar, every magazine says the trends for next year. We have four, and where they come from. In the last, I was trying to think this fall, since the last 4 months, I have probably been in front of 5,000 HR professionals. That's not true. Probably 10,000 with webinars, where I'm not only presenting, I'm listening. We've had 2 or 3 in-depth sessions at the university where I teach, at our institute where we do a CHRO session. We've identified 4, and they're themes, not specific programs. Number 1, I've already talked about outside in. If we don't create value in the marketplace with customers, investors, it's not a new idea, but it becomes ever more critical. Our work inside should be connected to the customer outside. I think that's a trend. I think we're seeing some companies begin to do that. We build a compensation program. We invite customers to do the performance review. So and we invite customers to share the resource. We outside in. Number 2, and it's what we've just talked about. We used to call it change, then we called it agility. Now I think we're beginning to call it transformation. Are we changing for the future? Are we agile? Are we changing? Are we seeing the ability to adapt, not only the business? Number 3, you said it well in our first, technology and AI. And it's not just AI, it's visualization, it's gamification, it's the incredible onslaught of technology, and how do we weave that into what we do? And number 4, I'll do the first 3 again: outside in, creating value in the marketplace; transformation; AI technology; and number 4 is rebuilding that employee relation, not rebuilding, renewing the employee relationship. And we talked about that. We used to, and I love evolution. We talked about employees should be motivated, then satisfied, then engaged, then committed, then experienced, then well-being. Now, on top of that build, I think we're going to see personalization around managing hope in your expectations. And when we can build that personalization, what does this mean for you? And how do we manage expectations? We see, and I'm not sure if this is true in India, some employees have false expectations. I want to work from home. I don't want to come to the office, but I want to be treated like a vice president. No, that's not going to happen. I mean, work is work, and we need to manage that. How can we give you hope in the world that we live in? And there's 3, I'll go just a little deeper on that we're trying to explore. I think hope comes from managing a clear sense of efficacy. If I work hard, I'll get the outcome. If I choose not to work hard, I won't get the outcome. Number 2, hope comes from optimism. Am I seeing the future? I think we've been enamored by building on the past. One of the coolest things we found, and I'm sorry to get on this, we studied leadership at the front line, because leadership matters, especially frontline. And we talked about, what does a frontline leader do that gives people a successful experience at work? Here was the finding. Number 1, the differentiated leaders. When you meet with an employee, don't talk about the past as much as the future. During COVID, we said, help people understand, what have you been experiencing? How has your day been? What's your past? What we're finding is that's useful, maybe 20 to 30%, 70 to 80%. Where are we going? What's the opportunity? Efficacy, optimism, and opportunity. And the third is inventiveness. Try new things that are not in chat. Invent. Do something that nobody else has done. That for us is what I think will create hope for the future. So our 4 things: outside in, transformation, technology, AI, and employee primacy around expectations for the future.
Dave, as time changes, HR leaders also need to upgrade their skills, their competencies. So I would like to know from you that what are these competencies, what are these skills which HR leaders need to upgrade to perform the best in 2024?
We've studied that for 35 years. We've done 8 rounds of pretty big data with now 120,000 respondents. And somebody said, well, it's self-report. It's not self-report. We've had a 360 where other people gauge your skills. Here's the change that we've seen in the last few years during COVID, and we're going to, I think, see it post-COVID. We've always defined a skill as an adjective and a noun: credible, activist, change agent, business partner. It's always a noun. It's a role. It's a state. What we're now defining is the skills as a verb. We need you to be, but we need you to accelerate business. Notice the verb: accelerate what? Business. To advance human capability, talent, organization, leadership. To foster collaboration. To maximize information. And to simplify complexity. So the shift we see, Ramesh, is we'd see the skills of HR kind of as a role, a noun. Here's what I do. Now we see it as a verb. It's a set of actions, and it's not the role you play as much as the actions you take, no matter what role you're in. Accelerate, advance, foster, simplify, mobilize information. Those are the verbs we're seeing as part of the HR agenda.
Thank you so much, Dave, for sharing your wonderful thoughts and being with us. Thank you so much.